this Easter weekend may have contained one of the high points of the entire COVID catastrophe of the last year.
Please get out. Get out of this property. Immediately get out. Get out of this property immediately. Out. I don't want to hear anything. Out of this property immediately. I don't want to hear a word. Out. Out. Out of this property immediately until you come back with a warrant. Out. Unbelievable, sick, evil people. Intimidating people in a church during the Passover. You Gestapo, Nazi, communists, fascists. Don't you dare coming back here. Can you imagine those psychopaths? Passover, the holiest Christian festival in a year, and they're coming to intimidate Christians during the holiest festival? Unbelievable.
That is Pastor Artur Pawlowski of his church in Calgary, Canada. It's the moral outrage that is generated by this pastor, which is the only appropriate response to this kind of thing. All of the people, the actual cogs in the machine of oppression, totalitarianism, and all the rest, and murder, all of the cogs are small little people who really, really, really like the idea of having authority. Every apartment block in the Soviet Union had 2 or 3 or 4 professional informants. Just little people, bitter people, nosy people, gossips. That's the mechanism that keeps a police state going. And that is what this guy is basically doing. He's calling them out. And of all the words he uses in his moral outrage, I think the one I like best is psychopaths. What are you psychopaths doing here? How dare you psychopaths enter my property without a warrant? This man is not woke like the Delta CEO. He's awake. He's awake. Like most of us, he understands where these things lead, where they go. That if we don't stand up to them loudly and effectively and with genuine moral outrage, and if we don't put shame on the people who are trying this power grab, if we don't take and keep, in other words, the moral high ground, then we will eventually lose this fight. But I'll tell you this, on Easter weekend, it was great to hear the voice of somebody who believed in his religion, believed in the idea of freedom of religion, and who came from a country that had suffered so horrifically at the hands of both Nazis and communists, a man who was so keenly attuned to the sound of impending totalitarianism that when he saw these policemen and Officer Karen in his church on Easter Sunday, he reacted with the only appropriate response, and that was unbridled moral outrage. I think it's time we started asking ourselves these basic research questions. Not just what do we do about this fact that there is no law anymore? What do we do about election integrity? These things are important issues, but again, to me, that sounds like chasing the plague down and depending on vapors or herbs or flagellation or something to stop the spread of a bacteria that's transmitted from fleas through rodents. We have got to understand the fundamentals of what's happening to this society. What is the sickness and what is the transmission vector? How is this societal plague of just careening to disaster? What's causing it? Not how can we stop it? We don't know how to stop it. If we knew how to stop it, we would stop it. We're all of us watching this every day. Getting more and more and more insane. Fonts are racist now. Pete Buttigieg said, or whatever his name is, you know who I'm talking about, that infrastructure is racist. Everything's racist. If everything's racist, then nothing is racist. What's going on? What's going on? I don't know. But I do know that because I don't know, That means that there's a gap in our fundamental knowledge of the dynamic. We don't have the basic research answers necessary to stop this plague. And we won't have the ability to stop this plague until we start asking these basic research questions and stop for a moment, not forever, still do what we can do with our limited knowledge, but instead of constantly trying to figure out how to undo this latest catastrophe, we need to be doing the fundamental lab research to figure out what has happened to this society. What is the fundamental change in society